Hello, and welcome to what is going to be a fiery and fun flow. Today's practice will integrate quite a few different arm balances, and it will do so in a way that allows you to titrate in and out of them or to experiment with them without needing to commit, without needing to feel confident in any of them. The key thing that I would like to put out at the very start of this is that this is all an exploration. And a practice like this can be a really fun way to push yourself if you are at a point where you'd like to do that. And it can be a really great experience in figuring out what part of the process you feel most comfortable in at this current moment and honoring that as well. So before we even step onto the mat, it might feel nice to calibrate a little bit, to check in with yourself, and to figure out if today feels like a day that you want to push, or if today feels like a day where you want to maybe find a little bit more ease in the class. And then you can continue to revisit that as we go through the flow. One thing that will be helpful to you in today's practice is to have two blocks. If you have cork blocks or wooden blocks as an option, then I would grab those. We will be using them to balance on to kind of give ourselves some more space between our hips and the floor. That being said, you can also use like dumbbells, for example, are a great option, or if you have books, we'll make do with whatever we got. You can also choose to not include these. It just might be a little bit more challenging when we get to one little playful transition and a certain unbalance. So with that being said, we're going to move straight into a warm up and get ready to roll. So let's go ahead and start seated on our mats. Let your hands rest on your knees or your thighs. Your gaze might be downward or even closed. On an inhale, draw your shoulders up toward your ears. Exhale, let them melt onto your back. Find a depth of breath that feels nice in your body. If you're not already, direct your breath to go in and out of your nose. And you might add that slight constriction at the back of your throat to step into that Ujjayi pranayama. On an inhale, let's reach arms up. Exhale, right fingertips lower, lean that direction. Inhale through center. Exhale, go to left. Inhale through center. Exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Take a moment to land your shoulders on your back, keeping some integrity in that side to side, top to bottom. Wait for an inhale to unwind, and exhale, twist to the second side. Inhale through center. Exhale, we'll bring our hands down toward our knees. We'll find a form of cat-cow here where we can really reach that heart forward and up, and then exhale to round and push. Inhale to reach. Exhale to round. Couple more. On this last inhale, come through, and then exhale, bring it into a circle going towards your left or right. Doesn't really matter. Inhaling forward and exhaling to circle back. Inhale forward, pause. Exhale, reverse your direction. Come back to that inhale forward. And then from here, we'll come up to a seat. Go ahead and step your feet about as wide as your mat. Take a moment, hands free to lower knees to the right. Maybe take a hinge forward here and up. Through center to the left. Hinge here and up. Through the center. And from here, draw your feet together, knees wide. Hinge forward any amount. Press the bottoms of your feet together. Come back up. And then we'll kick legs out somewhat long, give them a wiggle. You can have a little bend in your knees here. And we'll find a gentle forward fold, just barely meeting this form. Here, it might feel nice to tuck your chin and look toward your belly button on the exhale, and then inhale, look toward your toes. That can be a good way to floss your sciatic nerves. If you are feeling any sciatica in your legs or imbalance, otherwise you can find stillness here or maybe pulse toward and away from sensation with your breath. One more breath. Gently lift your way up. And then from here, we're going to rock back and forward, gently progressing until we feel like we can come all the way to a low squat at the front edge of the mat. All right, hands come forward here. Really press into your feet. Feel your knees draw away from each other. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to bring it down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to lower. This time, inhale, come all the way up. Sweep those arms up. Interlace all fingers. Turn your palms face up. And exhale, lean to the left. Hips go right. Inhale through center. And exhale, second side. Inhale through center. Exhale, forward fold. Let your knees be very soft. Slide that right foot back as you lower that knee. Inhale, chest chin up. Plant your hands, step it back. Plank pose. Pause here, feel your strength. Really press the mat away. Feel that space between your shoulder blades round out of it. That's going to be a home base for most of our arm balances that we meet today. So feeling strength here leads right to that. Now from here, lower knees, slow lower of chest chin. Inhale to pull through for a cobra. Nice and gentle. Exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way back to a downward facing form. Reach that right leg up. Exhale, knee toward nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, in. Inhale, extend. This time, exhale, draw that knee and step it forward. Lower your left knee, chest chin up, look up. And exhale, step to the front of your mat. Find that forward fold. Couple breaths here. Bend into one leg and the other. Inhale, we're going to soften our knees. Come on up to a chair form. Pause here for a breath. Wait for your next inhale to come around and rise. Gently lift through your heart space, maybe introducing a gentle back bend. And on the exhale, we're going to forward fold. Fingertips on the mat, left foot steps back, lower that knee, breath in, look up. Exhale to step it back, plank form. Same thing, instantly press the mat away, feel that strength. Pause here. This time on the exhale, we're going to lower knees, come back towards the child's pose. Let your elbows greet the mat, and then keep low with your torso as you come all the way through for a second cobra. And let that go. Press your way up and back, downward facing. Pause here. Maybe wiggle it out. On an inhale, left leg reaches up. Exhale, knee toward nose or forehead. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend, look forward. Exhale, step it through. Lower your right knee, breath in. And exhale, both feet at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, let it go. Keep your fingertips on the mat. Crawl them outside of your right foot. Bend that knee a little extra. Straighten your left knee a little extra. Feel the stretch. Go over to the other side. Switch. Which leg is bent? Which is more straight? Back through center. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way up. And release fingers non-dominant grip. Palms toward the ceiling. Exhale, lean right. Inhale through center. Exhale, lean left. Inhale through center. And let your hands come down to your sides. For this next thing that we're going to do, if you have a wall nearby, I suggest that. If not, you can always come onto the mat and find a sort of puppy pose. If you have a wall, you're going to tend to your fingers. I don't know, maybe 2 feet away. And then soften your heart in as you lift your tailbone up. You might come up onto your tiptoes and lower. You might bring your chin to the wall. You might round away, almost hollow body style. Maybe you step a little closer. Do the same thing. We're just really getting into our shoulders here. When you're ready, gently release away. Do some shoulder circles. Wiggle that out. We'll move into our main flow. We'll play with a few different arm balances, as I mentioned, through a few different ranges of motion. So to start, let's inhale, sweep those arms up. On the exhale, hands through heart center, lift your left knee up. Pause here, exhale, kick it out. Inhale to bend. Exhale, kick it out. Inhale, bend. This time as you exhale, hinge forward, kick that leg back behind you for a warrior 3 form. Pause here. Lower your toes. Inhale, come on up, high lunge. Alanasana. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back. Greet the twist. Inhale to unwind. And exhale, we're going to hinge it forward. Frame out this right foot. Lower your left knee as you inhale, chest, chin up. On the exhale, straighten both legs any amount, look back. Twice more. Inhale to bend. Exhale to straighten. Last one. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Really focus on the compression on the front side of this right hip. Think of drawing that hip back and maybe even a little bit to the left to square it up. On an inhale, let's soften into this right leg. And from here, we're going to step the left foot forward. And we'll meet our first form, our first balancey form today, which is going to be a simple crow form. I say simple, not because it's easy, but because the mechanics are a little more straightforward since it is indeed symmetrical, and also because it's a little more familiar. So you have a few options. I like to bring my knees up toward my armpits. Some people prefer them on the backs of their elbows. As you lift your hips, plant your hands shoulder distance apart, begin to lean into that base. Trust your knees here, and then lift your feet off of the mat any amount. You can come in and out of this. You can also keep one set of toes down and one lifted and kind of alternate. If your knees are on the backs of your elbows, maybe one set of toes up and then the other. Maybe you find a place where it feels like you can lift for just a moment. The key thing is to keep looking forward so you don't tuck your head and inadvertently shift your weight into a somersault. All right, so maybe one more moment to play with this one. Keep thinking of that roundness between your shoulders. Press the mat away. Lower out. Let's all turn our hands to face back toward our feet. Stretch out your wrists. Keep pressing into your fingertips while you're here. And then you might even loosely interlace and start to trace some circles with your knuckles. All right, first arm balance, out of the way. From here, hands come forward. We're gonna lower our knees, lift up as a unit, and then hands can come back toward hips or toward heels. Gently greet a camel form. Ease out of it the way you came in. Lower hips back toward heels and lift those knees back up. From here, hands come forward, find that downward facing form. Take a breath, move through vinyasa or stay still, whatever you prefer here. On an inhale, right leg's gonna lift up. We're gonna exhale, knee toward right elbow. Pause here. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it forward and pause. Inhale, lift it up. This time, move your hands back, a whole handprint. Exhale, bring it forward and pause. Knee to elbow. Try to bend that elbow back to create a shelf. Option to stay head lifted or to lower the crown of your head down. And then from here, you can really squeeze that heel in, and you might begin to lift this back leg. The back leg's lifted, we're gonna lower it. Step down your right toes, bend your knees, and then roll your way back to kneeling. Rinse that off, take a breath or two. Find any wiggles in between. And then from here, we'll keep our hands forward. Same thing we just did. You might need to tuck your toes under if, like me, they came untucked. Think of lifting your hips as a unit. Up, up, up. And then here, this time we're just gonna lean back. Feel the support of your core, of your quads. Inhale back up. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale up. Option to find a camel form for the second time. Gently reverse out. Hands come forward. Lower your hips. Lift your knees and come all the way to standing. You should be probably at the back edge of your mat. All right, from here, we're gonna inhale, reach those arms up, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Shift into your right foot, step it a little bit forward of your left. And from here, we're gonna find a slow hinge. Warrior three again. Whoops. But this time, progressing all the way into a standing split, with or without use of your hands. Gently bring your back knee toward your right calf, curtsy squat. Kick that leg out to your right. Left hand down, bring your right arm up. Nice stretch through your right IT band. And then exhale, right hand is gonna thread under this left armpit. We're spinning all the way to face the back edge of the mat. Left foot steps back, lower that knee, and come up to a low lunge. We're gonna set up for a half split here. So hips are square, they're stacked above this left knee, and then you can begin to hinge forward. Your hands might come down to that leg or to the mat. Find your breath here. You might pulse in and out, toward or away from sensation. On the inhale, crawl your hands forward. Lift your left knee, and we're crawling all the way back to the front edge of the mat. Right knee lowers, left hand to left knee. Inhale, right arm up, thumb against index finger, now Jnana Mudra. Find your low lunge to stretch out that right hip flexor. Gently ease it back up. From here, we're gonna lift the right knee, step to the front edge of the mat, and shake that off. Notice how it feels from left to right. We'll do that same little set on the left side. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Lift your right knee up. Exhale to kick that leg out. Inhale to bend. Exhale, kick. Inhale, bend. This time as you exhale, hinge it forward. Kick that right leg behind you. Set up. for a warrior three. As you're ready, we're gonna lower those right toes and inhale, torso and arms up. Alanasana, high lunge. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back, find that twist. Inhale to come back through neutral. And exhale, we'll hinge it forward, frame out this left foot. Lower your right knee, breath in. Exhale, straighten both legs, any amount, look back. Inhale to bend. Exhale to straighten. Last one will be a hold. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Pause here. Think of drawing that left hip back and maybe a little bit to the right. One more breath here. Inhale to bend into that left leg. Step your right foot forward and lower your hips down. So this time, instead of doing a traditional crow, we're going to find side crow on each side. We'll start by going to the right. Key things here is that there can be two different ways to place your hands. You can tuck your elbows outside of your right leg and think of both of them coming into contact, making a shelf for your knee and your hip. This one requires a little more flexibility, but a little bit less strength. So you tilt, 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 keep your legs together until you can lift. The second variation requires a little less flexibility, but a little more strength. In this one, we keep our hands facing the same direction as our toes. Your right knee is going to be on your left elbow, but your right elbow is going to be free. So as you lean forward, kind of positioning your torso over your hands, you might lean and lift. Okay, so try it on one side and then try it on the other. Usually there's going to be a side that's a little bit easier. There might be one variation that you like on one side more than the other. And then again, we'll bring the knees down. This time untuck your toes. Circle out your wrists by keeping your wrists in contact and kind of moving your hands through and then going the other direction. Blinker your hands. All right, we're going to do a little bit of shoulder opening here, along with some activation. So bring your elbows down. They might be quite close to your knees. I'm kind of just outside of my knees. And then curl your toes under. We're going to lift our way up. You can always step back a little into a dolphin form. Keep pressing the mat away through your elbows, through your forearms, through your hands. Find your breath. And then from here, lower your knees down. Plant your hands and send it back to a downward facing form. On the inhale, we're going to reach left leg high. Exhale, knee toward elbow. Pause. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee toward elbow. Pause. Inhale, lift. Slide your hands back a whole handprint. Exhale, knee toward elbow. Bend that elbow back. Really squeeze that heel in. Maybe lower your head down. Hop that back foot forward. Heel to sit bone. Maybe it feels like you can drag that right leg up. Don't worry if not. You're working all the same engagements, whether that foot leaves the ground or not. If you lower it, lower your left toes, knees. Gently roll your way up to kneeling. Release the pressure from your skull. Lift your hips enough to curl your toes under. We're going to bring our fingers to interlace or just to kind of gently hold either side of our skull. Press skull to fingers, fingers to skull. I feel like you got it. And then you're drawing your chin back in. Shoulders are engaged, and we're gently lifting from the heart. Gently release. Hands can come down. Lift your knees. Stand all the way up. All right. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands through heart center. I'm going to step this left foot a little bit forward of the right. This time, as you hinge forward, coming all the way past what feels like that warrior three into more of a standing split with or without hands. Exhale, right knee toward left calf. Kick your right foot out to the left. Point your right hand. Inhale, left arm up. Feel that side body stretch. Exhale, we're going to thread this hand underneath. Come all the way to face the back edge of the mat. Step your right toes back. Come to a low lunge and set up for your half split. All right, square out your hips and then find your hinge. I want to think of the pelvis rolling over the heads of each femur. The head of each femur, I should say. Use this rest while it's here. It's kind of a compact and fiery class. So on an inhale, soften into that left knee. Lift your right knee. Crawl back to the front edge. This time we'll lower the left knee, right-handed, right knee, left thumb against index fingernail. Jnana Mudra in your Anjaneyasana. Stretch out your left hip flexor. Let that be the focus. Gently release up. From here, lift your left knee up. Step forward. And this is where we're going to grab our blocks and move our way to the front or to the middle of the mat. So the form I'm going to show you is an abductive form, meaning that the leg will be away from midline, but it's actually drawing in at the same time. So this is what we call our elephant pose. We'll start by finding a seat. You can let your blocks just kind of be out to the sides. Right knee is bent. Okay. Take a moment here to catch either side of that right foot. Maybe you kick it out any amount, bring it in. Next time that you have it kicked out any amount, kind of draw out to the side. Just see what that feels like from the seat. And then we're going to hold it with the left hand. Right arm is going to work under. We're trying to bring this leg kind of over the arm. Some people can get it up over their shoulder. For me, it's usually more like it's on my bicep. Now, with my blocks, I can have them on whatever height I want. I'm squeezing this leg into my arm to hold it into place, really anywhere above my elbow. And then I'm going to press into my blocks to lift my booty up. And maybe I can lift my left leg. And I can lower down. All right, so that's what we're trying for here. As you can see, one of the hardest parts of that is keeping this leg drawn in enough that it doesn't just fall. So think of your arm kind of hosting some sense of resistance and your leg really squeezing in. You can put your blocks at whatever level feels best. And press up, maybe lift, and lower. All right, if you've had enough of that, we're going to find fire log with right leg on top, Dvipada Kapotasana, and hinge it forward. Take a twist, maybe circle out your wrist. I find that whatever side I do the arm balance on, that wrist tends to get a little bit more. So I'm circling out my right wrist a little extra. All right, we'll go straight to the second side. So catching the left foot, maybe straightening and bending that leg a few times. Just waking it up. Stand it straight. I'm gonna bring it out to the side. See what that's like here in the seated orientation. Back through center. Gather your blocks. Right hand holds the foot. Left hand's gonna come under and assist. Blocks are out to the side. That leg is squeezing in. And then from here, press into those blocks. Maybe you can lift and lower. You can kind of see why it's called elephant form. Kind of looks like an elephant ear and then their, oh my gosh, what do you call it? Their snout? Their trunk. Their trunk. Okay. It's like, wait a sec, that's not right. All right, you might try that once more just because sometimes something happens on one try that doesn't on the other. Rock into your hands, press up, lift your front foot, and bring it down. Okay, double pigeon on the second side, left leg's on top. Maybe circle out your wrists. The key takeaway from this class for many people is often that wrists can tire easily. So as we're stretching here, if you notice that for yourself, your wrists are struggling, I have a Happy Healthy Wrists really short tutorial on my channel that I suggest you look up. It goes over how you can use weights or even like a water bottle that's full, canned food, to do certain exercises that really build the muscles of your wrist that are so small, but so necessary. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to switch gears just a bit, stepping our feet wide again as the mat, coming up to a squat. Take a breath here. On an inhale, lift all the way up. And from here, we'll turn to face the long edge. Let's start with a wide-legged forward fold. So toes point forward. Inhale, long spine. On your exhale, hinge at your hips. Feel those creases at your hips. Hands might come back. You might wiggle your head out. On an inhale, come forward. Plant your left hand, reach your right one up. Exhale to swap out. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Exhale to lower your left hand. And then from here, we're going to try just one more arm balance, okay? So let's start with the right side as we have been doing. I'm actually going to face the other way. You will crawl toward your right foot, but I'm going to keep my right foot facing you. So I'm going to be a little bit different orientation. You can lower your left knee. So similar to how we worked this leg over our shoulder for the elephant form, you're going to work it over your shoulder again. Plant your hands and your left knee can kind of move back. Feels almost like a lizard pose. And then you're going to inchworm your right foot forward and to the side. As your elbows bend back, your right foot might kick, your left foot might lift. Now, one thing that I tend to do is lower my left ribs onto my left elbow. I kind of angle that elbow in to catch it. And that can be an extra support. So again, starts with working your right leg over your arm, inchworming that foot away. My hands are still pressing into the mat. As I can lower my ribs onto my left elbow, I kick, kick, kick. And maybe lower out. Maybe find some wiggles. We'll go to the second side. So left foot forward. This time you'll get to see my elbow under my ribs. Work that arm underneath. Plant your hand. Your hands are shoulder distance apart, but they're a little staggered to the left to start until you kind of move your left foot out of the way. I kind of slide my right knee out of the way at the same time. My left elbow is holding the belly of my left thigh here, my left hamstring really. And then right ribs to right elbow, kick, 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 and lift. All right, once more. Find your way in or anywhere near. Lower out if you're lifted. Then we're gonna end with some wrist love. So start by blinking your hands. You can move your shoulders while you do that. Hold your hands as though you're holding a ball and kind of circle out your wrist from there. Find some movement in your shoulders. And I really encourage you at the end of this practice to do whatever feels most suitable to you. I'm going to guide us through essentially lowering onto our backs and finding some twists and stuff. But if you're like, man, I'm really feeling it, feeling ready to play with some more forms, feel free to do that. You do not need to follow me. If you would like to find a stretch, we're going to straighten out the left leg and bring your right knee across your body. Find a supine twist. You might rock your head side to side, letting everything really loosen through your neck, especially because we did have that handstand arm balance hybrid. Come back through center and switch it out. Right leg across. You might rock your head. Left leg in. Kick both your legs up toward the ceiling. Reach your arms behind you. Point and flex your feet. Maybe open and close your hands. And then one thing I might suggest here that can feel kind of nice as a pelvic reset is to bring one hand on the far side of the knee, one hand on the near side, and just kind of create resistance. And then soften out, switch your hands, resistance, soften out. Do it once more, each orientation can be a good one to create a pelvic reset if, for example, you were holding weird or felt crunched up weird in any of those forms. Find any other wiggles or movements that you'd like. You might end class lying on your back or perhaps in a seat. Stay here as long as you would like to stay, knowing that this is your practice and your practice alone. If you'd like to have any classes that integrate arm balances a little less intensely, perhaps, than this one, a little more spaced out, let me know. Or if there are certain arm balances that you would like me to deliver more specific tutorials on, let me know. But for now, I hope you enjoy this little taste tester of some kind of fun ones that work through various ranges of motion and can be included in a lot of different ways. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.